Hi everyone, Unimace here. It's been officially 1 month since I started this self-improvement journey. And today I want to reflect on the progress, the challenges, and all the bits between that happened in the past month. Here's the plan for this video. First, I'll break down the 3 courses that I did this month, which was Japanese, algebra, and computer science. After that, we will go through the books that I've read this month. After that, the weight loss progress, and then I'll go through some of the challenges that happened this month. And finally, as always, you'll get the total numbers of how much time I spent learning, how much weight I've lost, the fasting numbers, all the other usual stuff that happened in the previous video. If you've been following my journey, let me know in the comments maybe if you're doing any kind of self-learning, what challenges are you encountering, or maybe some tips and tricks for me if you have any. Let's start with the first subject, Japanese, and what I did this month. For Japanese, I used the Japanese from Zero Book 1 by George Trombley. I went through the pre-lessons A to E and the lessons 1 to 4. I covered around 100 or 120 new words and exactly 35 hiragana characters. As for the grammar concepts, I've covered counting, basic daily greetings and phrases, asking questions using who, pointing and stuff and asking about it like this, that over there, which, expressing possession, colors, and using to create compound sentences, or basically learning how to use and in Japanese. For the hardest part, it was definitely, for some weird reason, hiragana. At the start, it was really easy. I remember the characters, but as the number of characters grew from, I don't know, 20, 25, 30, 35, I started mixing them up. And then the problems occurred because I would totally confuse one character for another. And the thing that I did to fix this was to randomly select syllables and write the hiragana for them at the start of each lesson. And slowly I would remember them as I was writing more and more characters. Besides the book, I used Quizlet for all of the words and all of the phrases, anything that doesn't have to do anything with grammar. But I do not recommend Quizlet or any kind of flashcards for hiragana because on the Japanese keyboard that you are using on the app, all the hiragana are in order. So practically you will remember the visual placement of the hiragana on the keyboard and you will not remember the actual character. This is what happened to me at the start, and then I immediately switched to basically writing hiragana and not using the keyboard to remember it. To improve listening skills, I watched or listened to some basic Japanese stories on YouTube. If you're also learning Japanese, I'll leave the links in the description below. For computer science, I followed the CS50's Introduction to Computer Science course. I finished week 4. That is the 5th lecture because it starts from 0 in the spirit of computer science. At the start, it was Scratch, and all of the other weeks were basically C, up to memory allocation and pointers. The most challenging part was by far memory allocation and pointers. I don't have any kind of tip here. Basically, I rewatched the lectures and rewatched the shorts, and I used a piece of paper to try to track what exactly is happening inside of the memory as the code was running. So for college algebra, I used the college algebra book by Blitzer. I finished the first chapter, which is the fundamentals or the prerequisites. I did around 850 or 900 problems in total in this chapter, and these are the topics that I've covered. So I started with algebraic expressions, scientific notation, radicals, polynomials, factoring polynomials, and the final one was rational expressions. The hardest part was definitely factoring polynomials. I don't know, I couldn't remember any of the rules for the factoring, so I had to reread them again and again and again. And once again, I don't have any kind of tip for this. Basically, I did each and every exercise or problem in the book for factoring polynomials, and this is how I got better and better at it. Overall, algebra was the most straightforward course, so you read the lecture, you do the checkpoint exercises, and you do the 150 exercises at the end of the chapter, and that's it. And now for the reading part. In this month, I read 5 books. You can see them here on the shelf, proudly displayed. 4 books from Stephen Hawking: A Brief History of Time, The Grand Design, Brief Answers to Big Questions, and finally Unlocking the Universe. And the 5th book was from Edward Snowden, called Permanent Record, which was his autobiography. I also read 3 manga, which were Tokyo Ghoul 1, 2, and 3, which I think you can see also here, also proudly displayed. All in all, it's 5 books and 3 mangas, which is way more than I ever did in my whole life for 1 month of reading. I also had a weight loss and a fasting goal. I will not spoil it for you. Some weirdness happened with that. You can check it out in the final stats chapter, which is coming after the next one. This month, I didn't rely on motivation at all. So previously, when I would want to accomplish something or learn something, I would rely on motivation to do it. And in a couple of days, I would just quit and I wouldn't bother it when the motivation was lost. This month or this journey, I focus solely on discipline and accountability. For the discipline, I set a strict schedule. So after work, each day I would learn for 2 hours and then read for an hour. During the weekends, I would learn for about around 10 hours in total, and Fridays were my only off days. The way I would set this time up is that I would learn for an hour, get a 10-minute break, and then learn for another hour. During the hour that I'm learning, I'm not using social media or any kind of distractions, so this hour is practically only pure learning, if you want to call it that way. For the accountability part, posting these videos made me responsible to track my progress. Even though this is a small channel or a really small channel, I still felt the need to track my progress and publish a video each week. Okay, here are the final stats for this month in the numbers. Let's switch to my really bad After Effects skills. So I did Japanese from zero for 4 hours this week. I did college algebra 9 hours this week, which is a lot and a little bit different. I did CS50 for 4 hours this week, which totals to 17 hours this week of learning, or 72 hours this month in total. For reading, I read Permanent Record for 6 hours, and in total I read for 23.5 hours this month. For weight loss, this week there was no significant change. I gained exactly 300 grams if you trust the scale. So in total, I lost 5 kilograms this month. For fasting and weight loss, I fasted for 117 hours this week, which is a total of 517 hours for this month. As February already started, here is my plan for this month. For Japanese, I will try to go through the next 4 lessons, which is lesson 5, liking and disliking, lesson 6, wanting and not wanting, lesson 7, locations, lesson 8, dates and past tenses. For computer science, I will try to do the next 4 weeks in this month. Week 5, data structures, week 6, Python and AI, week 7, SQL, and finally for week 8, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. For college algebra, I will try to finish the next chapter, which is equations and inequalities, or try to do 80% of it. I still have the test from the previous chapter to do, and you can see it in the next week update if you want to know how I did. For reading, for this month, I will switch to fiction books because I did non-fiction this month, and I don't have any kind of plan for the books that I will read. I will just use the pile of books that I bought but I never read in my room and try to go through them. You will see in the upcoming updates which books did I read exactly. For the weight loss, I will try to continue aiming for 1 kilo per week. Maximum if possible, and continue fasting for 16 hours per day. That's it for January. Thank you to everybody who watched the videos, liked, subscribed, commented. I will keep improving my studies, reading, and I will try to make these videos better and better as the time progresses. The next video is scheduled for February 10th. Well, if you don't see a video then, you know what it means. I failed. Keep improving and see you next week, hopefully. Bye.